So I'm gonna let you hear a couple of things. I'm gonna pass this microphone. I'm gonna let you hear it. I just want to give you a little rundown so you can have some understanding. Portland, I love you.
Hello, my name is Simone Sullivan. I want to first start off by saying I am not a spokesperson for Nike, but a designer at Nike who is speaking about my experience. I was brought here along with 10 other designers, part of Nike's diversity and inclusion initiatives. We were brought here to design for Serena Williams. Some of you may have heard of us. We're called the Serena Design Crew. They brought 10 designers of color to Portland for an opportunity to learn about the industry and potentially get a job at the end based on our performance. Upon arrival, there was many issues with the organization of the program, which was expressed by myself and others. I had multiple conflicts with some members of the team, but ultimately we were told to fix it amongst ourselves with no guidance or mediation. After a short time of being on campus, COVID lockdown started, and we all started working from home. So starting in March, everyone's perception of me was via Zoom, about 2 hours a week minimum, 2 weeks a week max. They interacted with me via Zoom. So we weren't in the office. Everyone's perception of me is just via camera, as many of you may be working on Zoom yourselves. Then George Floyd was murdered, and Nike put out the statement of "Until we all win." I was not satisfied with that because I felt like it came off like all lives matter. So I urged Nike to say Black Lives Matter. It took 2 whole weeks of back and forth for Nike to finally put Black Lives Matter on their social platforms and their website, which I find to be unsatisfactory, being that most of their customers are Black and their athletes are Black.
They're making their money off Black back.
Sorry, I am very emotional right now.
They're making their money off Black back.
You're doing great!
After that, I continued to push the message with the discovery that many people of color across the company were feeling ignored internally. As you all have probably seen, there was a Black at Nike Instagram page made that was then taken down. And if you have seen the page, there are heartbreaking accounts of injustice within Nike, a lot of which were never held accountable, and people just continued working at Nike despite knowing that these people were of power and were looking down on them because of their skin. I immediately felt pushback and awkwardness on all calls with leadership from diversity and inclusion, which makes absolutely no sense if you're leaders in diversity and inclusion. No one was pressing the issues as much as I was, and I felt alone. On July 1st, so just a month ago, 6 months into me being at Nike, I received feedback. I received no feedback my entire time of being at Nike until literally a month ago. So imagine working in a place for 6 months and you think you're doing fine, and you get feedback a month ago. You think you're doing great. You may feel tension amongst people you work with, but no one's saying anything to you. I'm extremely self-aware and self-conscious, so I feel the tension. But if no one speaks to me, I'm not going to assume there's an issue. So again, after 6 months, just 1 month ago, I was given feedback. In that feedback, they discussed that I had specific instances with a teammate and social media, as well as one time I was 5 minutes late to a meeting. The email after summarized the call and mentioned that I can work on being a more open-minded individual and a better teammate. But again, 6 months later.
Fuck them!
In this past month, we've only had 3 group Zoom calls, each about an hour each. So 3 hours in the past month, my team has been able to observe me. Just this week, I was told I will not be given an opportunity to work at Nike at the end of this month after this program for Serena Williams is done, based on my inability to work on a team. But again, the feedback was just given to me, and I've only had 3 hours of interaction to show that I could flip what you have to say about me. There was no time, no effort given to allow me to become a better teammate. There was no time put in to care to retain me. But Nike says they're all about diversity and inclusion, right? You're all about retaining people of color, right? So why wouldn't you have like programs put into place to make me a better teammate if that's what you're gonna say is not gonna keep me on the team?
It's because you push Black Lives Matter. It's because you push Black Lives Matter.
They said my portfolio was amazing. They said it had nothing to do with the business. I know it doesn't, because my personal team outside of the Serena design crew is down 2 designers, so they needed the help.
Yes!
So the only thing that's keeping me from this job is saying that I'm not a good teammate. Something that's teachable, that no one tried to teach me, is the one thing keeping me from making it. Keeping me, well, let me not say that, because I'm gonna make it regardless. But that's the one thing keeping me from going towards learning more at Nike and inspiring other people. I'm upset because the grace and care given to my white counterparts are not given to me. I spoke with a white young man here at Nike, and he told me that when he is written up, he is guided thoroughly and almost has a wing of protection over him. I overheard him speaking to the media, something that we're not supposed to do, and he was able to give his name. And when they said, "Why do you feel comfortable giving your name?" his answer was, "Well, I'm a white guy."
Sorry.
Meanwhile, I'm concerned. I'm scared to tell everyone what I'm going through because I'm a black woman. I'm already looked at as angry. I'm already looked at as confrontational. I'm fully aware of my personality. I'm fully aware that I have sass. But if no one gives me feedback and tells me how to be a better teammate, how do you expect me to improve? The diversity inclusion program in Nike, an integral part of it is the professional development. No one professionally developed me. No one tried to help me, even with the recognition that this was my first corporate job. I am only 26 years old. Another leader in the program who was recently let go, she's been at Nike for 20 plus years. She is a white woman. She is a very, very powerful person, and she is also very bold. I saw myself in her, with her boldness and her ability to just say things how it is. She let us know that there's been multiple times that she's kind of, bumped heads with people. But again, she's been at Nike for 20 plus years. Why is that? She's given more grace. Yeah. They will give her the guidance. They will talk to her. She gets more understanding. However, me, I'm not given that understanding. You're not understanding that I'm a 26-year-old black woman from the East Coast who was brought to the West Coast in the middle of COVID, in the middle of social justice movements. There's no understanding there for me. No one will take that into consideration why I may not be showing up as my best self. No one took into consideration that the only interaction you've had with me is through Zoom. You haven't seen me in person. I may not get along with the 10 people I work with that you see every day, but you don't get to see me work with my other teammates that loved me. You don't get to see that because we're on Zoom. But none of that was taken into consideration when offering me a job. Well, not offering me a job. I was set up to fail from the beginning. Everything done within Nike is passive, aggressive, and vague. They're actually known for that, and a lot of the employees say that. If Nike is actually hoping to be more diverse, they have to change their ways of interacting with new hires and create a plan of action to guide us. They can't just say they want to keep people in Portland and then pretend to not see the problems. I want to also add that there are many employees that feel the same as me. Many people are afraid to be confrontational, as I've been labeled by many. Afraid to make a difference out of fear of retaliation. I'm aware of my faults, but I'm also aware that I wasn't guided properly, and this is far too common amongst employees of color. There are people that have been at Nike for years that won't get promotions, can't move up due to the lack of leadership and development. I've been on calls with young men crying about how tired they are for fighting for themselves. Me speaking up against these injustices is not because I'm against Nike. Let me be clear about that. It's because I know they can do better and they have the opportunity to change the world. And because I want my future children to be able to show up to work as their authentic selves, knowing that they will be guided if they mess up, not made to feel ashamed or inadequate. Thank you all for listening. I'm fully aware of the repercussions that may come out of me being up here. I have 1 month left of this program. I don't know if they're going to quickly kick me out of it because of this. Who knows? But I felt like I needed to speak up for all the employees who can't speak up. Thank you.
That's a powerful sister. Give it up for the sister one more time. At the end, she said she don't even know if I'm gonna have her position that she came out here for. But there's a moment in here. See, out of the three cats, I'm the oldest one on the stage. So I speak to those of you who I know benefit from the white privilege. You know you benefit from it. You know, I get up here, this mic is kind of powerful, so I'm aware of that. And I'm not trying to push our allies away. We have to have some difficult, hard conversations with some people that don't look like us. White women and black women need to have some hard, difficult conversations right there. There's too many of y'all in the corporate workplaces, too many of y'all white women in the corporate workplace that you don't laugh, but you already know. That's a hard conversation to have. You have to look your own self in the mirror right now. And I'm not going to scream at you about it because I have to have my own conversations with some people that don't look like me. Where I can look back and I can see where my own personal bias and my own experience has made me miss opportunities because I came off a certain way. So I had to have a conversation with myself. You know, but this is, when I talk about the insidious nature of the racism, of the oppression, of the abuse, when we talk about the insidiousness of it, it doesn't stop with the badge. I know y'all can, I know it. Nike's big out here, I know it. It's hard to clap against Nike. Woo! They putting a lot of money in the town. I buy them all the time. I'm not mad. What we are asking Nike to do and what we are asking other corporations who mean well is to stop taking advice from your own people, talking about that's the Office of Equity and Inclusion, and you hired them. Do you not see the correlation between that system? If I am the king and I want to keep my system a certain way, I may hire my nephew to be the Office of Equity and Inclusion because, you know, he gets along with black people pretty good. He seems pretty hip. But at the end of the day, he's still going to do my bidding. That's the insidious nature of it. That's the insidious nature of it. And it requires it requires not only your participation here, but your demonstration where it counts. Where it counts, people, it just doesn't happen downtown. Racism just doesn't happen downtown. We got our brothers and sisters here. I don't know where they left. Where the veterans at? Is the veterans still in the house? Did they leave? We had the native veterans in the house. We got one. Where the veterans at? We got some veterans here, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the vets. You know, shout out to the vets. A lot of people laid down their lives for a lot of different reasons. You know, but the ultimate sacrifice is to stand up for the rights of others. And that's what it's about. The ultimate sacrifice is to stand up for the rights of others, because you know what? It requires your time. And you value what you spend your time and your money on. John Lewis. Yeah, shout out John Lewis, come on. A true American soldier. So while we got voices of anger, voices of compassion, voices of a whole bunch of stuff, because none of us is going to be able to sum up the black experience for everybody. And then you wonder, what does Black Lives Matter mean? What does it really mean? And what I say is this. That feeling in your heart, whatever it is that caused you to be down here, you don't know how to describe it. I'm just supposed to be right here because I got to stand for something. We don't always know what to call that thing that drives us to do something. But we know it's a deep calling. And that's what Black Lives Matter means. That's what it means. That's what it means. And we got to change some things systemically. But on a human level, on a human-to-human level, you know, we're going to have to figure it out in our hearts and our minds. And so with that, let y'all go.
Anybody feel uncomfortable? I mean, be honest. Anybody feel uncomfortable out there? It's okay. Anybody feel uncomfortable? I hear a little bit. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to be uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. I've been uncomfortable for a long time. Matter of fact, I was uncomfortable before I knew what uncomfortable meant. It's a good thing to be uncomfortable. Because that means you're moving into something that's unknown. That means you're moving towards something greater than yourself. Something that you can't explain. So it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Seek discomfort.
I'm going to speak more about Nike because I know that's the uncomfortable thing of the night. It ain't the feds, it ain't Donald Trump, it ain't the PPD, it's when we said Nike. I went there because I knew that it was a place that we could fix, or help fix, and be part of the solution. And help some black lives, immediately. And yes, I needed the help of everybody. But I want to tell you that we're really close to coming to a conclusion there. We're really close to fixing the issue. And it will be done. It will be done. So don't feel uncomfortable anymore. Because that uncomfortable feeling is that power being used in the right way. We didn't use that power to go knock down a building. We use that power to build one and make it higher. We did not go to Nike to make it weak. We went to Nike to make it stronger than it ever been. So don't feel uncomfortable. Celebrate. I just want y'all to know that. So, with that being said, we're going to get back to the normal, the usual. And that's using our powers. So, I'd like to know if y'all feel like y'all got some power left? Okay. You sure you got some power left, or did we use it up on these guys? You sure? Okay, I'm gonna believe you on that one. Cause you know, a lot of us down here, one of the main chances was whose streets, right? Whose streets are these? And when you say it's our streets, that means you don't have to ask to walk on it.
Right.
You don't have to ask to lay on it. You don't have to ask for anything. We can go in and say clean the room, cause this is our streets. We can do whatever we want on these streets because they are ours. So I'm gonna ask you, and now it's day 60 something. I think we all get it that these are our streets. So let me ask you once. Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Say his name.
George Floyd!
Say his name.
George Floyd!
Say her name.
Breonna Taylor!
Say her name.
Breonna Taylor!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Our streets!
I got power. I got power. I got power. We got power. We got power. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Yeah. Don't sound like we going anywhere. Anywhere soon. I'm very proud of everybody out here. I would say it a little different, but my voice is a little gone, but it's okay. Like I said, my voice is gone, but it'll come back just like you did. And it'll come back just like you did, if you didn't catch that. But like I said, I'm just happy. I'm happy to be a part of this movement. I'm happy to be up here every single night. You make me stronger. And we're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep doing things that matter.
Let's go ahead and make some noise! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
And his memory won't be forgotten. His memory won't be forgotten. Y'all want to know why? Because it's a new set of John Lewis's in Portland, Oregon. And this new set of John Lewis's is going to ring through the whole United States. John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! There's a new set of John Lewis's right here in front of you. And we gonna keep civil rights right. We gonna make sure that they don't violate our constitutional rights. We gonna make sure our constitutional rights are not breached ever again. John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! There's a new set of John Lewis's up here in front of you. And we gonna make sure we stand on each and every one of American citizens' constitutional rights. John Lewis! John Lewis! And we gonna make sure every single American's civil rights are upheld. John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! They thought the death of John Lewis was the end of civil rights. No! We have a new set of John Lewis's right here, and we gonna make sure civil rights are upheld. John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
John Lewis!
Hell no! We won't go! 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 They asked us how long is the protest gonna last? The protest is gonna last forever, because we gonna make sure that y'all don't violate our constitutional rights ever again. John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! John Lewis! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! And we are the people. And we are the people. Who are y'all? Who are y'all? Who are y'all? We are the people.
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 Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
John Lewis.
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 And his memory is going to stand forever. And we are not going to let one piece of civil rights be untold. We are not going to let one piece of civil rights not be uplifted. John Lewis.
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 John Lewis. John Lewis. Portland, are you scared? Hell no. Portland, are you scared? Portland, are you scared? I ain't scared. I ain't scared. That's what my boy Mike be saying. I mean, I ain't scared.
I ain't scared.
I ain't scared.
I ain't scared.
John Lewis.
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 And before it's all said and done, each and every one of us is going to be a John Lewis. And we are going to make sure that we protect everybody's civil rights. And we're going to make sure we protect everybody's constitutional rights. And we're going to make sure we hold the police and the federal government accountable. John Lewis.
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 I love y'all.
You might be wondering what's happening to yourself. You might be wondering, where are you? I'll explain this to someone. This is no longer a perk. This is no longer, I don't know, a justice center. This is a college now. You coming here and getting educated. You coming here and being baptized in the gas. And you walking out a new person. I've seen it with my own eyes. I witnessed it with my own body. I came here one person and went home another. That's what is happening to a lot of people that come down here and experience it. This is what it's like to be black. You get that from going through this whole process. You might start here, you end up over there, and make a 360 back to here. But when you come back here, you come back something else. You come back with something to give. That's what's happening to the people that keep coming here. Do not be scared. It is a good thing that's happening. You might not get it. You might not get it. You might go home and you might do something that you never thought you would do. It's that kind of vibe that's going through here. It's that type of power. The closer you get to the power, the more it soaks in you. And the more you're able to use. You start doing things that you didn't even think you were capable of doing. You start saying things that you didn't even know you had the words to say. You start looking up in dictionaries because you said something that you don't even know where it came from. That's the type of power that's down here. That's the type of power that's flowing through the air. It's not the gas. It's power. This is a love. This is, it's hard to even explain. Because this had never been done. It's never been done like this. Portland, make some noise for yourself because this is history. When you look at the history books 30 or 40 years from now, it's going to have a picture of all of us. It's not going to have one person because the power is in the people. They're going to do an aerial view and that's going to be on the cover because that's where the power was. We were so close together, we looked like one big old giant. That's where the power is. You have to understand that. That's why I asked you to come closer because I can see. I can see what's happening when we close. I can see what's going to happen when we close. When we divide, I can see the past. I can see what hurt us and what kept us down. It scares me to see you apart. I do not want to see that ever again. It scares me. Yes, COVID says we need to be 6 feet apart, but that scares me because it looks like a divide. The power is there. The power is here. I hear no coughs. I see nobody looking sick, and we've been like this for 60 days. This should be ground zero for COVID. COVID should be running rapid right here, but some reason it's not. That gotta tell you something. That has to tell you something. I know it gets quiet because you're thinking that what I just said is true. It's true.
Too many facts in your face. You just look. You want to
I'm just so proud of everybody out here.
If you want to know
I'm so in love with everybody that I can see. I'm so in love with everybody I can feel.
We love you too.
If my arms was long enough, I would give everybody a hug right now. But I'm not Plastic Man. But y'all keep giving me this power, I might just become that. Guaranteed. And I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it to hug everybody out here. So, I don't want to say thank you again, but I got to say thank you again.
Air hug.
I got to say it.
Air hug. It's the same thing.
I gotta say it.
Abracadabra. Air hug. Thank you. Thank you.
My mother never lived to see this. And I woke up feeling crazy.